Elizabeth Chappell, a lifelong entrepreneur who finally found my niche. After years of new ideas and jumping from business to business, I figured out how to turn a craft into a successful career. In 2016, I started a monthly subscription box for quilters. That little startup has grown into a thriving, multiple six-figure business that I am so proud of. As a published author, designer of fabrics and patterns being sold throughout the world, my favorite thing to do is to teach others how to grow a career of their dreams. Each week, you'll hear from me or from other guests who are creative entrepreneurs, so you can learn exactly what to do and what not to do to grow a career that's more rewarding and successful than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to turn your craft into a career that you love, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the Craft to Career podcast. Listeners, you are in for a treat today. We have Kimberly Jolly of the Fat Quarter Shop, the owner of the Fat Quarter Shop, here on the podcast. And she has so much experience owning a business in the quilting community. I'm very excited about the topics that we cover, including at the very end, asking her, what kind of hole do you see in the market? Like what is something that nobody has sold or offered? Ooh, juicy. It's a good one. For those of you out there looking for a niche, you're going to want to listen. Lots of great insight, so much that you are just going to love and glean from this. I cannot wait to dive in. If you have not left a review for the podcast, take a minute and just go do that, or wait till the end of the episode and you can leave a review either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And now let's jump in and let me introduce you to Kimberly Jolly of Fat Quarter Shop. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here on the Craft to Career podcast. For our listeners, can you introduce kind of who you are in the quilting community?
Well, thanks for inviting me. I am the owner of Fat Quarter Shop and the It's So Emma publishing company, and I started my business in 2003. So I've been in the quilting industry for quite a long time.
Okay, when I joined the quilting industry, I remember someone saying, Fat Quarter Shop. I was like, what is Fat Quarter Shop? Quickly learned it is the go-to for like all the quilting supplies. And if you're in the quilting world, you know Fat Quarter Shop. So how did Fat Quarter Shop begin?
So I had a corporate job and I used to want to just buy Fat Quarter bundles. That's all I wanted to buy. I just wanted to go in a store and buy it and walk out. I didn't want to have to pick the bolts, try to match stuff. That was just way too much work because I usually would shop on my lunch break from my corporate job. So I just thought I could just sell these online and then people can find them. So it really just started like that, just like a little idea. I'll just make a little home business. I'll just be a stay-at-home mom. And it kind of turned into something totally different.
Okay, we've got to dive into this because it has totally grown from that. So that was 2003 when you started just selling fat quarters online.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your corporate job?
So I'm a CPA, and so I was working in the venture capital world, and it was right when funding was going down, and I could see clearly that I was not probably going to have a job soon. And I just thought, I'll just do this on the side in case I lose my job. And then it just kind of took over, and then I quit my job, and my husband joined me, I guess, a year or two later. So he's been integral in all of the hard stuff. Like I get to do the fun creative stuff and he gets to figure out shipping and the computer and all those things. So we're a great team because I'm super creative and I don't know how to do a thing on computers. Ask anyone who works for me.
They're like, don't let her touch it. So this started in 2003. And I mean, I'm trying to go back in my mind what the world was like in 2003. But as I recall, was Etsy even around?
Etsy was not around. Social media wasn't around. There were a couple of online quilt stores, and some of them are still around to this day. But they were more focused on just yardage, like let's sell some novelty fabric, or let me sell you some solid fabric. It wasn't really based on a collection. And back then, there really weren't even designers that designed for companies. It was more like fabric companies just put some fabric out. But for me, I just wanted everything to already be put together and I didn't want to have to think about matching. I just wanted to buy it and then go home and figure it out later.
And then I just have to know, have you, I mean, you're a CPA, which boggles my mind because I'm not a math person. And so in my mind, CPAs are like, the creative and the CPA don't go together, but they do for you and lots of other people. But you have an entrepreneurial vision, like to be able to see there's this niche that's not being filled. Have you experienced that throughout your life, or was this the first time?
No, for sure. That's how I've always been. I remember when I started the business, my best friend was like, I don't think this is going to be like a stay-at-home mom thing. Like, I think you're going to like take this to another level. I'm just super driven and I'm a workaholic. No matter where I've ever worked, I want to work. I want to work hard. I just like love to work. Like, you know how people think about, oh, I'm so excited to retire. That does not cross my mind ever.
Okay. So this is, yeah, I kind of thought. So in school, were you hyper competitive and like a high achiever? And
Oh, absolutely. Graduated college like summa cum laude. Yes, absolutely.
yep, I love
Super
it.
competitive.
So can you kind of tell us like how it looked for Fat Quarter Shop to grow? Like at what point did you get a warehouse and how, I don't know, how did this evolve?
So I worked out of the house for a couple years and then we just rented a warehouse that was nearby. That's when Kevin came to join us. And then, you just have growing pains where, you can pay this much per month, but then now you're making a little bit more. So you can just move to a little bit bigger place. And so Kevin has kind of done all of that and we've just grown. And if we think we can go to a bigger place, we're going to go to a bigger place.
And how,
Yeah.
okay, it's So Emma. This is your publishing brand, or what would you call that?
Yeah, it's just a publishing company within the Fat Quarter Shop.
And how did that begin? I'm so curious. Like, do you have big printing machines? Like, what does it look like?
So I used to get so frustrated when I would buy a pattern because I couldn't interpret it. And I was like, there has got to be a better way to write a pattern so that somebody who has a corporate job can just look at it, cut the fabric, and make it. They don't have to read the pattern 20 times. And back in the day, Thimbleberries had the best patterns. And so I was like, why is everybody not doing it like her? She has color photos. Back then, nobody really had color photos. And I could follow her patterns. And so I just thought, what can I create so that my customers can buy a pattern? And, most people who buy from us, they have jobs, they work, they can go home, cut the fabric, and it just takes a lot of the waste out because you don't have to think. And so we just have, like 4 or 5 people on staff. Some of them design, some of them write patterns. A lot of our printing we outsource that.
Oh, you outsource. So you don't, I'm picturing you have these big printing machines in your.
Well, for our patterns we do, but our books we outsource everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fascinating. I know you don't offer people to come and see your facilities, but it'd be so cool. Yeah. So talk to me about staff, because I may have some listeners who are like, wait, you have ghostwriters? You have, how often are you hiring? How do you find people when you're hiring?
Most of the people on my team have worked for me for 10 years or more. So I really haven't had to hire in a really long time. And I think it's because it's such a creative environment. People know that they can submit ideas and it's just so creative. When you come to work, it's something different every day. So honestly, I haven't had to hire in such a long time, but really what I'm looking for when I hire someone is somebody with a good attitude and that wants to be creative and wants to step outside the box of just coming to work and just doing the day to day. That really doesn't work here because we're creative and we want to do more and more and more. So I just think I've been really lucky.
Yeah.
Hiring the right people.
You've got to be doing something right too. If they're staying and you've got a great team. So I'm curious, you have an amazing catalog library of products, and some are very curated for Fat Quarter Shop. How do you come up with these ideas for different like bundles and kits and your monthly subscription box, all these things?
So, okay, so for the fabric, Kevin and I buy every collection that comes in the door. So we buy all the fabric, I buy all the notions. Now, internally, Jocelyn is a big part of the team and she basically comes up with ideas for notions. We have weekly meetings where we might be at a Japanese store and see something really cute and we're like, "Oh, this looks like a cute phone holder, but it's a cat. We could turn this into a quilt block and make it cute for our customers." And so we all just bring ideas. Kevin brings a lot of the ideas. Sometimes we look at him like, "What are you thinking?" But then we finally get it because he'll bring in a product from like a guitar store and we're like, "Oh, how does that fit?" So we're not afraid to fail and we're not afraid to just take a risk. And if we think it's going to be a good quality and that our customers will like it, we're willing to, manufacture it and try it. And, most of the things we've done have been good. We've had some flops, but I think that's just life, right? Like some things are going to be great, some things aren't. And if they're not, you don't focus on the ones that are flop. You just get rid of them and move to the next thing.
Yeah. And then I'm very curious as well. And I don't even, I mean, if we had a formula for this, we would all just repeat. But as far as like quilt patterns, fabrics, anything that you sell, do you see like why some things sell better than others? Is it like the marketing of the person or?
Well, I would say 20 years ago, it would be totally different than today. What sells today is the people who market themselves and do beautiful photos on social media, and they're doing YouTube channels or Instagram or TikTok or even just a newsletter to customers. They're out there. And then, every now and then there'll be a pattern that maybe somebody doesn't do social media, but maybe a blogger just loves their pattern and they host a quilt along. And then it kind of goes crazy because people start seeing everybody else make it. But honestly, I don't think nowadays you can just put out a pattern and expect it to sell.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
So you do see people who have a large audience in one way or another, whether it's newsletter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever,
Yep.
who are actively out there promoting, marketing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm going to always buy more of their stuff up front. Now, if you're like a new up and coming person, I'll still buy your stuff, but I'm just not going to buy the quantity I would have bought if you had been established for years and years and years. And sometimes I'll just see something and I'll just be like, okay, that's just going to be a hit. And I'll just take a risk and just buy a ton of it and hope.
Has it ever bitten you in the butt?
I mean, not really. We have the daily flash sales, so we can always get rid of stuff if we need to. I feel like the flash sales are not as important as they were before COVID. COVID, people were always looking for a sale. I feel like now people, if it's not good, they're not going to buy it, whether it's on sale or whether it's not on sale. And that's a very different economy than before COVID. Very different.
Why do
the
you
way people
think?
buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. My husband, it's a thing that my husband is trying to kind of figure out, but I just think people are just like particular now, or yeah, I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, but people buy very different today than 5 years ago. And when I say very different, I mean the way that Kevin and I have to buy for our store is 100% different than what we did 5 years ago.
Before and after COVID, it changed.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fascinating. I would love to know why. I mean, that's very fascinating.
Yeah, I wish I knew too.
Right. Well, and when you say you have to buy different, you mean that can you share more what you mean by that? Like,
yeah, like people, they're more selective. So maybe we have to be a little bit more selective on what we buy. We can't just buy something and expect that it's just going to sell. if that makes sense. Like we used to be like a little bit more like, oh, okay, that might sell, that might not. Now we're like, okay, we call things A, B, C, D groups. Like that's how Kevin and I classify them in our heads. And if it's not an A or B, we're just like, yeah, it's not worth the risk. Because before, if it didn't do good, we could just put it on flash sale and it would sell. You cannot do that anymore. If it does not sell, yeah, if it doesn't sell on full price, I don't think it's going to sell on a sale price. I
Wow.
just think people don't buy that way for our industry anymore.
Which I'm very curious. 2020, right? That was when all the COVID everything. There was a huge influx of quilters and
Oh,
sewers.
yes.
Have they stuck around?
Yes, and when they came in, they bought solids and novelty prints, and that is it. It was the weirdest thing. So luckily, we had a lot of solid and novelty prints, but novelty had kind of faded. Things go in and out of style, like batiks. They'll be great and then not great. Novelties, everything trends, and novelties just became a hit. So I was emailing manufacturers and saying, send me your top 50 novelty prints and just buying them because people would make a mask with them. Um, so but I do think they have stayed around, and I have noticed on social media a lot of younger quilters and a lot of men
Oh, okay.
compared to before COVID. I feel like
Yeah.
it's just yeah,
Well,
and I
that's
feel like they're
exciting.
more creative. They're just coming up with crazy stuff.
So, which platforms have been the most effective for your sales? I know you're on all of the things: YouTube, Instagram, website, email. I'm curious which ones are the best for sales and which you have the most fun with personally.
I would say we get the most traction from our newsletter because our customer is, older and they like newsletters. I would say social media is popular for newer items, nothing old. Has to be trending, has to be cute. I have the most fun with YouTube because I I don't know, I just have fun. I feel like if I get online and I can just do one project and somebody at home sees it and they can start quilting, it just helps the entire industry. And I feel like that's really an inspiring way to just show people, oh, this is how I do it. And some people hate the way I do it, and that's okay. Um, there's a YouTube channel for everybody out there to do all kinds of things. And I just think it's fun because then I get to create more. And then I'm like, oh, I get to show people. Like if you were at home and you were just making something like you and your immediate family are going to see it, not the whole world. I get to like brag about, oh, I made this sewing machine block, or I made this Labubu block, or, you get to have like fun, and it makes me want to do more and more and more.
Were you scared at all when you first started YouTube, like get in front of the
No,
camera? Oh, nice. Good for you.
no, I mean, I was more like, I don't think I was scared. Yeah, I don't think I was scared.
Okay.
I
And
mean,
then,
I still get nervous, but you just have to like, I have my little things that kind of help me calm down, but you're always going to get nervous,
yeah.
but I'm not scared in any way.
Okay. And how have you dealt with, because I know the more visible you are, the more comments you get, and there's negative in there. Like you said, some people don't like your method of doing something.
Right.
Does that affect you? Like, and you said, no, I don't care. I mean, how have you gotten to that point? Or have you just always kind of,
So I actually don't get on social media. So I look at Facebook, but my Facebook is like my friends that I know in real life. Like, my drill team moms, my band moms, like people who I see in everyday life. I do not get on Instagram unless I get a text that somebody says, oh, your daughter posted something really cute. Then I go look. I don't get on TikTok. I don't know how to use TikTok. I tried to use Snapchat with my daughter just because she's in college. I gave up in 30 minutes and deleted the app. I just don't like, I don't sit at my computer. I read Reddit, I do, but it's really more just for fun. But social media, you would never catch me at a football game looking at social media ever. Like it's just not, I think that's what's kept it where the negativity, I mean, some of it gets to me, but I just don't focus on it. And I also don't like, I don't need people to like the video to keep doing videos. I do the videos because I like to do it. But yeah, social media, like I could have no idea what's going on. My husband also, he has no social media, he has no Facebook, he has nothing. If somebody from high school wanted to find him, the only way they would find him is if they found some picture of him doing Make a Wish for Fat Quarter Shop. You cannot find him any other way.
There's a few people in my past that are like that. I'm like, where are you? Come on, show up online. Like,
Yes.
good for him and good for you. That's a layer of protection that I think mentally is really important as a business owner to. Now, do you have team members who do check that? Because sometimes I feel like there's a fire that could happen, and you got to be like aware.
Yeah, so we have different people who run the YouTube channel and then a different person who does all of the social media. And if there's been very few issues over the years. But if there is, they'll just text me and I'll just say, oh, okay, this is what I think we should do. Sometimes I'll call Kevin. It's so rare, but we are very, we always want to do the right thing. Always. That's how Kevin and I run our life. Like our kids, I'm like, you have to do the right thing, whatever that right thing is, even if you upset somebody, you have to do what's right for you. Um, and so I think because we're like very positive people and we're really careful with what we do, there has not been very much negativity. And I'm not somebody who's going to go online and react if somebody puts something about me, because what is that going to do? That's just going to make people want to do that to you more. So I just ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that advice. And I heard someone say,
Yeah.
the more you talk about something, you're pointing people to go and take a look at it. And I'm like, I just
Yeah.
rather not bring attention to that, and let it be,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if somebody emails us, we're going to answer it. But online, on social media, if somebody puts something ugly out there, we're just going to let it sit.
Yeah. I love that. So I am really curious. I live in Houston, and that's how I got introduced to this whole market was, my friend and neighbor was Tracy Barrett. Her mom is Bonnie. Her sister is Camille of Bonnie and Camille. And
Yeah.
so I was like, what does your mom do? She's a fabric designer. Can I go see this quilt market? That's how I found this whole world. How has quilt market evolved? Because even when I went, that was like 2015, it blew my mind. And they're like, this is nothing like what it used to be. It used to be so much bigger. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think it's become less and less important because of the internet. And if you went back 15 years ago, the way that the fabric salesman would come to you is they would say, "This is what we're showing, but you cannot put it online until the day of quilt market, because that is when everybody is releasing their stuff." There's only one designer to this day that still does that. Every company is trying to outdo the other company. So they're releasing their fabrics a month before, and the date of market just is not important. And I think also stores, you don't even have to have a sales rep. You can just get on a website, look at it, check their what's new section, email an order in. It's just a different world. I feel like if you have it together and you're proactive, you don't even need a sales rep. I mean, I love all our sales reps, so I don't want them to go away. But if you're a new store, you don't even have to figure out who your sales rep is. You can just email in an order, fill out a credit application, and be set to go. The barriers to entry are very low.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it seems like you mentioned, social media kind of moves the hand a bit. Like what's big on social media, buy that, sell that. But it's interesting that you said a while back, your flash sales, what was it? Something you can only sell very new things on social media. Like it has to be new and fresh. Whereas your newsletter, you can sell things that maybe aren't like the thing right now.
Yeah, I feel like with newsletters, you can give them a little bit more detail and more photos. And if somebody's reading a newsletter, they're going to actually read it. Social media, what are they going to do? They're going to swipe. And if that photo is not 100% amazing, they're just going to swipe. They're never going to know even what the name of the product is.
It's true. Well, and social media, their goal is to get you to stay on their platform. They don't want you hopping off, and so they're going to promote things that are going to keep you there. And I fall prey to it. I get a newsletter for one of my favorite brands, and I'm like, oh, what do we got here? A minute later, I'm buying something. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I feel like Facebook ads, that gets me. The clothing on Facebook ads. I am like, that is the one thing that will get me is Facebook ads for clothing.
Yeah, I'm wearing a new pair of pants today from the very thing. Like,
Yeah. It's just like, okay, you have to close it. You cannot buy anything today. You have to close. You have to close
yes,
the browser right now.
yes. As a small business owner, we know two things. We need a product to sell and we need people to buy it. But how do we actually get people to buy? Here is my little secret. Your biggest sales will come every time you send an email to your audience. That's right. Whether this surprises you or you already know the power of email marketing, one thing is clear: you need the right email platform. And that's why I use Flowdesk. Flowdesk is made for small business owners. And unlike most email providers, Flowdesk does not charge you the more your audience grows. Plus, creating beautiful, easy to read emails has never been easier. So, if you are looking for a user friendly way to collect email addresses and grow your audience, try Flowdesk. And with code QuiltersCandy, you will get 50% off your first year. Experience how easy it is to grow and nurture your audience with Flowdesk. Okay, and then back to like the evolution of the quilt market. Do you think H&H? I've never been. It's like a couple of years old, I think. I don't even know much about it, but it seems like the new thing.
It is definitely the new thing, and that is the direction the industry is going. It is well put together. Everything is digitized. So when you walk in, you have your badge, you have your QR code, you just walk in. It's not just quilts, it's yarn, it's embroidery, it's all kinds of creative stuff that you just wouldn't even think of. And I just think the organizers of it are a little bit more innovative. And also, one thing I would say as a company, you're going to these shows. It's a lot of money to pay for a hotel. In Houston, those hotels are hundreds of dollars a night. In Chicago or H&H's, you get off a plane, you literally take a Uber for 5 minutes, you get in a reasonably priced hotel, and your show's right there. So your employees will like to go because it's not a lot of travel, it's not a headache. You just get in, you get out. It's not that expensive. Houston is just a very expensive town where that is, and who wants to pay a couple $100 for a hotel that you just sleep in at night? You're not even you're working all day. So, as a business owner, you get more out of H&H because it's just, and I think people just like my employees like going to H&H. We're going to go this year. It's fun, it's creative. It kind of has something for everyone. I mean, it has like the cheap acrylic yarn to the super expensive alpaca yarn. It has quilts. It has people who make bags. It has clothing. And they have really good speakers also and they put the speakers right in the middle of the show. So you can't miss them.
Hmm.
So, and they have really good speakers that I think are really relevant. So it kind of is just, it's not as much work.
You're selling me on H&H. I might
Oh,
need
it's
to
so cute.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
it's cute.
exciting. Well, and I've heard too, I mean, this is all, I'm like, is this exactly what I heard? So don't quote me on this, but the organizer of H&H is a bit younger and very big on like organizing social gatherings, and just, it feels like a bit maybe more, not relevant. I don't want to use that word, but like on trend with what's trending right now. I don't know.
It is. And one thing that I'll say about it, Kevin goes to trade shows that are not have anything to do with this industry, but they might be computers, they might be, I don't even know what he does. He goes to these shows, and H&H is like those shows. They have happy hours, they have wine, they have good food. I mean, I'm telling you, I had these tacos at H&H and I was like, "Oh my god, these tacos are amazing. The food is good." Like, I'm all about eating at all times, every day, all day. And if there's good food there, I'm in. And they have really cute, fun stuff where you can take cute selfies. I just think they just really have it together. And I think my employees like it because we're not just quilters here. We like other stuff. Like if my employee likes knitting, oh, well, they can shop for personal stuff or look for other things that maybe we need to bring into the industry. And I feel like the booths are also cuter.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to go, which I have noticed a couple times. I've written a note here looking outside of the industry, and it seems like it's mostly been Kevin who like he'll go to the guitar store and bring ideas, and he'll go to other trade shows. And I think that's really important for business owners to kind of, if we're just looking within the quilting industry, you're going to be repeating and copying. But if you look outside, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't watch any YouTubers that are in our industry because I probably would love them, but I don't want to ever accidentally like, oh, take an idea from them. But I watch a lot of true crime, and I can tell you, I have come to work and said, oh, this true crime channel did this. This might work for our channel. Now, does it always work? No. But we also have somebody who works here who likes anime and gaming, and he'll come and say, oh, I saw this on a YouTube channel. Maybe we could try this. You know, you should always be looking for ideas in any and not looking to your competitor. Like I don't go to any other competitor's website unless I'm trying to buy something that I can't find.
yeah.
So because if you're not unique enough, why are people going to come shop with you? If you're the same as all the other stores and you're doing the same thing every other store is doing, what makes somebody want to shop with you?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Well, and I teach students how to write quilt patterns. And I'm like, if your pattern looks like everyone else's, like you want someone to scroll and stop and be like, whoa, what's that? Which has got to be different. You know, it's got to stand out. And
And I think there's so many pattern writers out there. If the photography is not perfect, or if, a lot of the patterns, I will say they have this font that's this big of their pattern company name over the quilt. That's bad. Like nobody cares what the name of the pattern company is. It needs to be hidden. It needs, because I shop for all of our stuff on different distributors' websites, and I go every week to the What's New page. And if it is, I mean, there's hundreds there every week. So you got to catch a shop owner's eye quick.
okay, this is a very interesting. I love that you have this perspective because a friend who is reprinting some of her patterns, and she was like, we brought up Lori Holt. She has these they're like garden seeds. Her pattern, I don't
Quilt seeds.
Quilt seeds.
Quilt seeds.
How do those hang in a quilt shop? Do that? They're not in a bag, are they?
They're in a really nice paper, like a thick paper, kind of like a real quilt seed would be, but there is a hole and you can put them on the rack. And those are super popular because they're cute. And she made them so that if you're a quilt shop and you want to offer that as a kit, you can just kind of stuff the fabric in there. We don't do that, but so that people, it's just kind of like a grab and go.
It is genius. And nobody copy that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is look outside, like gardening industry, like look at if your packaging can be different. Like we're just so used to making all the patterns like look exactly the same. And anyhow, so yeah, what are some things that you've seen as you've scrolled that you're like, ooh, that caught my eye?
I think, the color of the quilt has to be trendy. So it cannot be, browns and blacks. And it's got to be on trend with, and a lot of stuff is on trend with clothing. Like if you go into a clothing store and you go into a quilt shop, those are the same colors. So it's just got to be cute. And if it's not cute, I'm just going to pass on it. Now, there are some companies where they're a staple. There are customers who will buy every single one of their patterns every time they come out. They collect their patterns. Now, that's easy. I just buy all their stuff and I'm on auto ship with them. So I don't even have to think. The pattern people just send us the order on auto ship. But I would say it's just got to stand out. It's got to not have a lot of white space. And I mean, these logos that are this big that take up, maybe 20% of the pattern, nobody cares about your pattern logo.
Yeah.
Because it takes away from the quilt.
Okay, tell me your thoughts on this because I've said this and I think it can come across as kind of heartless and I don't mean it that way, but like when business owners share my pattern is launching this day, I'm like no one cares. Like they care
Yeah,
what's in it
nobody.
for them. If you can say learn how to do this or try it, what's in it for the customer. But if you're just sharing it's my pattern launch, no one really cares.
I think the customers care about quilt alongs when they can quilt along with somebody. So then they can be maybe in a Facebook group or they know other people are going to be sharing their blocks. So maybe especially if they're new, it would help them with their color placement. So anything that can be interactive with other people online is great.
And do you guys I should know this, but you guys do like is it called a quilt along? Like what would you
Oh,
call
we
when you
do a
do?
ton of them. Yeah, we
Okay.
do quilt alongs, and we offer the one thing that we do is we offer a lot of free patterns to our customers. And some of them are mysteries, some of them are just standard PDFs. But I mean, every year we're giving like 20 to 30 patterns at a time, um, free. Because we want people to get a value out of shopping with us. We don't want to just be like trying to sell you something at all times. And then when we do our quilt alongs, you don't have to sew with the fabric that I picked. You can sew with any fabric. Like right now, we have over 20 quilt alongs for 2026 planned.
Okay. Wow.
And they're a mix of our patterns, other people's patterns. It's just a mix. If I like it and I'm going to sew it, I'm going to show it. And I have people who say, well, you only sew with this designer. Well, that's what I like. And that's what I'm going to do because I'm not going to show something I don't like. I'm not going to make a quilt that I think is ugly. What am I going to do with that quilt? No, all my quilts, they got to be cute. They got to be something that fits in my house or fits in maybe like a family member's house that I could give it to them for Christmas. It has to be something I want to do. I don't just make quilts to make quilts. I make quilts to like do something with them, like put them on the wall, put them on the couch.
Well, and then it builds a brand recognition. People start to know and resonate with, yeah, I like the things that Fat Quarter Shop does. Cause if you're like jumping all over the place and doing something super weird, they'd be like, it's just harder it's better for brand recognition to kind of stick with the look. Um, so can you share a couple of the sew alongs that are coming up in 2026? Something you're really excited about?
Yeah, so we're doing our charity, which is a really cute quilt this year. We have two mysteries next year. One is Halloween, one is Christmas. We have several sew-alongs with some Lori Holt quilts. We have Socialites. So Socialites 3 is a huge program. This takes hundreds, if not thousands of hours for our team. It's a completely free series. We give you every Friday from March to okay, so from February 2026 to August of 2026, every Friday you can download a free pattern either on our site or our blog. And they come in three sizes: a 3-inch, a 6-inch, and 9-inch. We also give you free finishing patterns. And then we have Socialites 1 and Socialites 2. And so if you think a block is maybe too hard, you can go back to the library of the other free blocks um, to use those. We also are planning a 250th anniversary quilt along where, because it's going to be the 250th anniversary of the US. So we're planning a quilt along for that. So, I mean, I feel like we're just doing something. It's hard for us to even keep track of what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So many fun. Well, and it's so funny. I'm such a quilter and you can tell where my brain goes. I'm like 250 anniversary. What's the anniversary? Is it Liberty of London? Oh, it's of my country. Like that's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you choose the charity that you want to work with? I think there's like Make a Wish.
So we started with Make a Wish, and it was Jocelyn's idea originally to do a charity sew along. And me and Kevin have been blessed with four beautiful children that have no health issues so far. And we just thought kids are just so important to us. And so we have worked with other charities, but we have just found Make a Wish to be the most positive and so we pretty much stick with Make a Wish for our annual charity. We do some fundraising for breast cancer, for UNCF, We do several charities, but the main one we focus on is Make-A-Wish. And I just think it's because Kevin and I, we just feel so blessed to have children that don't have health issues. And, we get to meet the families, the parents. You get to see how it actually affects them. We don't feel like we're just writing a check. We feel like we actually see, oh, this little girl got to go to Disney right before her chemo, and it really helped her, have a better, positive outlook. I don't know. I just think we can really see the effects of it, and it's just so fun to meet the families.
Yeah, a very meaningful thing that you've resonated
Mm-hmm.
with and enjoyed. I love that. Now, I am curious, kind of changing gears a bit. Sometimes you'll have guests on your YouTube show. If someone who's listening is interested in that, do you open that or do you reach out and invite people? Can people like pitch themselves, or how does that work?
Usually we'll just reach out to people, but people can always reach out to us, but we base it on what we buy the most fabric of.
Okay.
So, because if we just have somebody who just says, "Oh, I'd like to come on," but we don't have a lot of their products, well, then my customer's going to get frustrated because they're going to be like, "Well, where do I buy that?" So I have to have enough inventory of it. And it also has to be something that I really like, because it would be awkward to be talking to somebody and I think their fabric is weird or something. Like, it has to be something that connects with the look of Fat Quarter Shop.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people are like scared to do it. Some people are like, "Oh, I'd love to do it, but I just really don't want to be on video."
Can you share some of your like all-time favorite fabrics or patterns that are just every time you see it, you're like, I just love it?
Well, Swoon has obviously been the best-selling pattern we've ever had. All the versions of it.
Really?
People are still buying that.
You say, obviously, I did not know that. That's interesting. Okay.
Yes, Swoon. And I think because so many people have posted pictures of their quilts online. So if you're new to the industry and you Google something, a Swoon pattern is going to come up.
Interesting.
Somebody has made a Swoon quilt that's going to come up. Fabric collections that I've loved. There was a collection called Buttercream and Figs. That was the first collection that Joanna Figueroa ever did. I loved that collection. What's the one? Nantucket Summer was really great seller, and I personally love the blues and the greens. I try to save a little bit, like at least a charm pack of something if I love it, so that maybe in a couple years I can throw it in a scrappy quilt or something. But, I love anything Lori Holtz. I love anything Camille Ross Kelly, Vanessa Gertson, Corey Yoder, Fig Tree. I mean, I just love their stuff. And so I'm kind of like my customers, like if they put something out, I'm going to buy at least a charm pack of it or something. I'm going to save a little piece of it so that if I ever need it in the future, I have it.
There's one design from Bonnie and Camille way back in the day. It was like Rainy Day or something. And it was a little, It's my favorite. And it's one of those that like, I would pay an arm and a leg to get like a fat quarter bundle of it, because I have these tiny little, but yeah, we've got our favorites. And
yeah. And if I run out of stuff and I don't have it, I go on Etsy or eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's still there, I'm still going to buy it.
Yep. So they can hike that price up. And I'm like, darn it. Okay. Yeah, I need it. So are you a Liberty of London girl or no?
Not really.
Okay.
I like their stuff, but I've never sewn with it or anything. The new thing that I like recently is Tilda. I love Tilda's stuff. Her stuff is just, her social media is so perfect.
I'm going to have to go. It doesn't pop up on my feed. I do check Instagram. I hate to admit it, but I do. So I'm going to go check hers out. So, okay, to wrap it up, what advice would you give to someone who's starting or growing their creative business?
So I would say you have to have an idea of what you are going to have as your values as a company for your employees, but also your values for customer. What is going to set you apart from another company? And Kevin and I have always said the customer comes first. Customer service is important. And let me say this again. Okay, so you have to So you have to figure out what's going to set you apart from other stores, first of all, and just go with that. And we have always said customers come first. Customer service is the most important thing. Treating our employees is the most important thing. As far as what we offer what our customers buy, and what our customers buy is not going to be the same thing as another store is going to buy. So if you're starting a store, figure out the customers that you have, what are they looking for? And focus on that. Grow your brand based on what your customers are looking for, and just go from there. But you got to treat people right. You got to treat your customers right. You have to have some type of mission that sets you apart from another store. Like, you know, there's room for everybody in the industry, but when they think of Fat Quarter Shop, I want them to think of great customer service, great videos, great social media. I want nothing negative to ever come to their mind, because the customer is why we do this.
I love it, which I do have to say, I've had great customer service from Fat Quarter Shop from day one. So you've done a good job with that, as far as I'm aware.
Thank you.
And I did have one last question that came to mind that I know would be very valuable for my listeners. Are there any holes in the market that you can see that for either a fabric designer or pattern designer where you're like, man, they are really could be fill in the blank?
Absolutely. So, Rachel Ashwell was a designer, and she's from Shabby Chic, and she used to have fabric lines. Her stuff was amazing. There is nothing out there right now. Where my daughter shops, Love Shack Fancy. There is nothing like that in the quilting industry. And guess what? She's in a dorm, and I want to make her cute quilts. And I can find some fabric, but it is not as trendy as Love Shack Fancy. So I think one thing that is always missing and has always been missing from the industry is, what are teenage girls wearing and what are teenage boys looking at on social media. This industry is so geared towards older, and that's great because that's our customer base. But I'm looking to make something for my daughter who's in college, and there is nothing out there that looks anything. I mean, like if you think about the monkey pajamas, but it's so trendy. It's everywhere. It's these little monkeys, and it's this whole brand, and every college room. Well, I don't want to say every college room, but it's like a thing. I think Jocelyn found out what. Oh, Roller Rabbit.
Roller Rabbit.
So like Roller Rabbit is like everywhere. If there was somebody who put out something similar to Roller Rabbit, it would go crazy, because I could make clothes for my daughter. I could make her a little skirt. I mean, I just feel like there's just not a lot for the tween area. There's great baby fabric, and there's great fabric for when you get married. But when you're in high school and junior high, when I'm trying to make something for my kids, it's a struggle. And I have all the fabric.
That's
and
true.
I see all the fabric. I see every sales rep who has any type of fabric. And if it's out there, it's not, because I can't find it. So
You're
I'm always
right.
struggling, I would say, to make my kids something that they will like, that feels like, oh, if I went into Dick's Sporting Goods, which is, where my boys like to buy their clothes, that's what they like. They like that look.
And not, the cutesy little boy sports, but like the teen. Well, and my daughter just went to college, and like, this is so sad to me, but I asked, do you want a quilt for your dorm? And she's like, no, I'm good. Because, it doesn't appeal to her. So, and I had to put it aside. Like, this isn't about you, Elizabeth. It's we'll call it the fabric.
The same thing happened to me. The same exact thing. My daughter went to college, and I kept showing her stuff. I showed her literally 60 quilts, and finally I showed her one, and she was like, yes, I like it.
Which one was it?
It is a new pattern coming out by Melissa Mortensen, and it's a bow, like shabby, and then you can put their initial. And so I'm going to make that for Christmas. And the boys, I'm going to make two of the boys a pattern that's from a Lori Holt book. That's a jersey, like a football jersey with their number on it. And then one of my kids likes, what is that animal? Chubba, the Australian Chubba. There's a pattern by Elizabeth Hartman for this animal, Chubba, Chub, Chubbara. Oh, capybara. So Elizabeth Hartman has a pattern for capybara that I'm going to make in Solace for one of my kids, but it's hard. Like you have to like dig deep for those age range. And I think that's a whole market that's been missing for years and is still missing.
Well, I'm just blown away with the bow. I literally wrote down Melissa Mortensen bow pattern because my daughter last year, I was making holiday sweatshirts. And I was like, what if I did this? She's like, Mom, do the bow, like that trendy bow. And I was like, nah, and I didn't. So that's what she likes too, you know? So.
Well, and I mean, there's some bow fabric out there, but it's not colored the way a little teenage girl likes it. It does not look like the sorority. Like, look at what the sororities are wearing.
Yep.
Look at what those fraternity boys are wearing. There's a whole market for that for moms who have kids who have gone to college.
And grandmas with grandkids. And
yes, that's just been missing forever. And I don't know if it'll ever fill.
Well, some listener out there jump on this because like there's a hole in the market. So awesome.
Yep.
So for our listeners who want to check out your shop, maybe join at the Sew Along next year, where's the best place to find you?
So we are at fatquartershop.com, and on our blog, which is called The Jolly Jabber, we have a detailed listing of all of the sew-alongs we're doing, and it gives you great detail on, you know, what we're sewing with, what the dates are, what we're doing each month. We have the YouTube channel, which is Fat Quarter Shop. We also have a cross-stitch channel called Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube, which I personally love because I cross-stitched before I quilted. And so we have that, and, you know, it's just Fat Quarter Shop on all the social medias.
Awesome. Yeah, go check it out. I'm sure listeners, you've heard of Fat Quarter Shop, but if not, go take a look. They have everything that you want. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for being here on the podcast. It was such a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and it was so nice to meet you today.
What a fun podcast interview. Oh my gosh, listeners, I hope you loved it as much as I did. There was so much to take away from this, down to like the importance of a newsletter, which I know we feel like really, but it's so important to have that newsletter to sell things. It just, every person I talk to with a successful business, time and time again, the newsletter is where it's at. Finding out how to stand out in the marketplace, what sells, how the market is shifting and changing, what's up and coming, you know, like H&H, the hole in the marketplace. What's something that you could create that's not out there? I mean, just so many good things to find here in this podcast interview. So thank you, Kimberly, again for being here on the podcast. It was such a pleasure to chat with you. And listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment and go leave a review for the podcast. You can leave a 1 through 5 star review, and then you can write anything that you're really loving about the podcast or that stood out or helped you. Do not miss next week. We've got another amazing guest coming, Cindy Cloward of Riley Blake Design. I cannot wait to chat with her as well. And listeners, have a wonderful week. We'll see you again next Friday. Take care.